Right. We're live on no, on Zoom now. Hmm. There we go. Yeah, live on YouTube. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love. Please pardon the updo. This is how I make my hair stay as curly as possible, as long as possible. So sorry about that, but that's what that is. So I hope everyone's doing well this Sunday morning. It is Sunday, December the 8th, 2024. And while I had planned to come here a little earlier, I didn't make it. Um, I don't know. I was oddly energized after last night's intuitive hangout session. And I found myself, ah, we've had this card quite a bit over the last little bit. That's very interesting. Spirit Dancer. But for some reason, another one wants to come out. Um, so I wasn't able to fall asleep until after 3 a.m. So, hence my being a little later than I'd planned. Let's put it that way. At any rate, let's see what the collective energy. Oh, and I got an earworm this morning. Actually, it came in last night. Um, oh, it'll be the retriever also came out. So that's very interesting. Um, I didn't post it on my Facebook page. Normally I do this because I'm not sure. For some reason, I was wondering if I was where this earworm was coming from. Um, but it came in again this morning. So I found it kind of interesting. It's by Collective Soul and it's called The World I've Known. It's sort of a haunting tune. And at first, I wasn't sure what I was hearing because, that's how it works for me. I get a tune in my head sometimes, and I'll get a few words, not all of them, and I'll have to go in. And what I do is I use DuckDuckGo mostly, and I'll put in song containing lyrics, and then I just type in what I've heard. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And it did work in this instance, and it came up. So it was very interesting. It's a beautiful song. But when I looked it up, the first thing that it said on one of the lyrics sites, and I didn't read it all the way, but because it was kind of interesting, right? I said a word the other day I probably shouldn't have said, and nothing has caught it yet. I haven't, to my knowledge, we haven't received any information saying that was a word you can't say. Um, and I'm not going to say it now, but if you look up that song, I I wonder if you'll get the same information I got. Oh, this says spiritual. Wow, that's a very interesting card. Again, I haven't really delved into this deck. I was drawn to it, but I haven't really felt the draw to, study the book and whatnot in regards to it. So that's kind of interesting um, that it come out like that. I have a several years ago, I happened across a blog by Lisa Risingberry called Rising Frequencies, and she was writing about the upward facing infinity symbol and the eight, how that is the proper this was her guidance, I guess, about, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I was very drawn to that. And we started a series of conversations on Conscious Conversation Central and then again on Corona Rising, before those channels were taken away. Um, as for words. But the second one, I have a feeling it was just simply because of my last name, because, that was during the time when that was a word you just really couldn't say very often without having your whole channel taken down, regardless of the fact that it's my name. Oh, great. Um, so I'm not quite sure what this is about here. We'll see shortly. Um, at any rate, I'm not quite sure what that earworm was about. It's a beautiful song. And of course, depending on one's perspective, I suppose, it could mean lots of different things. Um, but the very opening line is, has our conscience grown? And the name of the group is Collective Soul. And so that's a really good question, right? I know mine has over the years that I've been doing this and that I, started Conscious Conversation Central. My conscience has certainly grown. My consciousness certainly has. Oh my, we've had this one before too. Surrender the idea you can fix someone. Because in truth, I got all I can handle right here. I don't know about y'all, but if I can fix me, I feel like I'm doing a good job. Because believe you me, this is a job. Okay. I mean, anybody who thinks they can try to fix anybody else, let me just save you a little time and a hell of a lot of energy. The answer to that is no, you can't. And I'm also sorry to say that it, I have really, I'm leaning into the knowledge now that, and I set my son off recently by saying the words "my truth," because I guess but the truth of the matter is, for me, something can be true for me and false for someone else. I mean, I took me a long time to get to that point where I could actually understand that as a truth, um, because it all depends on one's perspective and the choices that one has decided to embody. So to say that it can't be is still a power over other energetic, trying to force one way or another. We're multidimensional. We have a lot going on within our fields. All of us do. And it really, oh wow, okay. What would what would love do? I love these cards. I'm so glad that they screamed at me when I was going through my cards. I was going to put these away and possibly sell them. And they were like, no, 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 you don't do that. Do you know why it's so easy for us in the unseen to quickly pinpoint your whereabouts? You leave behind footprints of love. Aw, the universe. P.S. The legend of Bigfoot continues. That's very interesting. That's interesting too. I saw something, I don't know if it was just a meme or I showed it to my housemate Lisa yesterday. It looked like, and again, who knows, it could be somebody messing around. It looked like a notice from the Forestry Service in a particular area of the country, Washington State and Oregon, where they were speaking to um, the fact that they were telling people not to camp in that area because they it was an area known to be inhabited by Bigfoot. And so who knows, man? It could be that they're beginning to, you know, allow folks to know the truth and not poo poo things. Who knows? I don't know. Oh, that one, huh? Okay. Dance of the Divine Feminine, card number 42. Okay. Well, that one definitely wants to be last, the Rumi deck. Okay. Well, let's just get started here, shall we? That's quite a few cards that wanted to come out this morning. So it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. Even if somebody doesn't believe they need healing, or because this happened to me, my now ex-husband really didn't feel as though what had transpired for him in his youth had anything to do with who he was as an adult. Okay, well, what can you do with that? There's really nothing you can do with that. I tried for 3 years after that to just work on myself. And the gulf between us simply just grew and grew and grew. And everybody gets to choose, and there's really no I love him still and always will. And everybody gets to choose. And to try to force a loved one into seeing my point of view is a power over other energetic. And I personally don't feel that that is supported on this planet anymore. I think it's leaving, and it's exhausting trying to change someone's mind who's chosen not to do something. Um, you can't affect change. That's like trying to comb the mirror, you know. Again, your individual mileage may vary, but that's my take on the situation, as it is my experience also. And it's just a waste of time in my vernacular, in my feel of it. And again, I don't want anybody stepping in and trying to tell me how to live my life. No one. Nobody gets to do that. The whole I think the whole planet is moving towards sovereignty. And the only way to step into sovereignty is to allow everybody else to have it as well. I mean, and so therefore that would require that I step away from that desire or drive or need to have power over another. And that is what that is. That whole idea of trying to fix somebody. It's trying to force them. It's like trying to make a dog watch TV when they don't want to. It's no point. So this is the spiritual pillar according to the Alchemy Elemental deck. And it says when you draw the spiritual pillar, the cards are speaking to you about your spiritual life. Now, when I say spiritual life, I'm not just talking about crystals and meditation and ancestor altars, though let's not discount those either, because yes, your spiritual life means cultivating mindfulness expanding your awareness, and strengthening your shamanic skills through, oh my God, fire scrying. I just said yesterday that I need to do some candle gazing. So that's interesting. Drumming and making offerings to the spirits. This card is absolutely an invitation to connect with your guides, to clean your altar, cleanse your crystals, or to make offerings to your ancestors. And we did have the ancestor fire card twice in the last week. Very interesting. But the spiritual pillar isn't just about your relationship with spirit as it relates to your own life. It's about sharing your spiritual gifts with the world. When you draw the spiritual pillar, you know that the spirits are encouraging you to expand your spirituality and your love for the planet and all creatures into the world at large. This card, I'm going out in public today for the first time in about 2 weeks, so that's kind of interesting too. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's kind of funny. This card is like a nudge from your guides to connect with your soul tribe and to uplift your global community and raise the collective vibration of humanity with your being, your presence, your smile, your wisdom, and your every interaction. The spiritual pillar is asking you to look at how you are weaving your own divinity into the world. Wow. Now that's so interesting to me on so many levels, especially because when I do go out, which like I said right now is not very often, you know, uh there's lots of different reasons for that, but um when especially when Lisa and I go out together, it's just very interesting what happens. Almost every time uh, we are stopped or enter into conversation with folks. It's just very interesting what happens, and I'm sure that a lot of you get that too, right? It's just for me, it feels like the more I allow the larger portion of me to beam through, to just be in here. You don't have to say a word, really. Folks just be drawn to you. There's no rhyme or reason to it in many ways. So this card has come out a couple of times over the last 2 or 3 weeks here. Spirit Dancer, card number 36. This is a nine numerologically. And what was this one? This is 17. Let's see, 8 plus 7 is 15. That's a 6 numerologically. So this one is love, harmony, balance, which boy, isn't that interesting because it sure looks like balance there in a lot of ways. This card is a 9 numerologically, end of a cycle. So the key words for this card are self-expression, freedom, exploration. The spirit dancer understands both sides of self-expression. In the first stage, we get our inner vision, feelings, and creative impulse out into the world through our art, whatever that is. Then our expressions are reflected back to us from the mirror of other people's perceptions, and we discover what our art awakens in them. Art is such a very subjective thing. I've had the occasion now to, well, not just the occasion, but every time I get around my granddaughter, I try to do little projects with her. Um, because I didn't really have much of that in my young life coming up with my grandparents, right? And everybody was too busy working and, you know, I don't know, being quite different than what I would like to be for my grandchild. And we've had, conversations about that because, she wants to her art to look more perfect. We all think that our art is not what it is, which is beautiful no matter what happens, right? It's a very subjective thing. First and most important for many of us, we learn, grow, and lead more satisfying lives if we have ways of expressing our inner world, which is so true because, first of all, we can really never express fully enough that other beings completely 100% um, understand exactly what the other is trying to convey. We have our because it comes through our own perspectives, right? And it informs us in different ways, which is the entire point of our existence here, in my view. I spoke a little bit about that last night, being a reverse kaleidoscope with access to our many multidimensional aspects, not just us in this realm. Such expressions can be a way of helping ourselves better understand our feelings and experiences, or they can be a way of getting pain out where we can look at it and let it begin to heal, which I'm convinced is exactly why things look so wild and woolly out there right now in the collective, on the world stage. It is the collective consciousness laying out all the dirty laundry so that we can all get a real good look at ourselves in a very real and visceral way. So that's really interesting that it comes up like that. Creative expression is a method of exploring our own truth. Bringing, here we go with our own truth again, right? Bringing it into the light so that we can see it more clearly and maintain sanity. The key words here are explore, experiment, and express. As this fairy cryptically remarked to one oracle reader, the death of spirit dancer is perfection. Second, creative expression is a way of sharing and letting others see more of our true selves. It is a way that we can reach out from this illusion of separation and reaffirm our essential connections with one another. When we share a dance, a painting, or a poem with others, we do so with the hope that they will see something of what we have put into it and that their experience will echo ours in some way. But if we have done well, we will be able to add something to their experience. At the same time, we understand that their slant on things is a bit different and that what they reflect back to us by their response will perhaps contain something we haven't seen about our own experience, a new insight, a different view, an expansion of our picture of reality. So, this side of creative expression, the sharing part, enriches us in a different way than the actual creation. I've never written a poem or sculpted something without the experience changing me, and then changing me again when I shared it with others. This is something I've heard many others say, including many who do not consider themselves real artists or real writers. Well, coming here, doing this, changes me in a very real and visceral way. no matter what, as I've said before, yes, I see there are three folks watching, but that's not who I'm talking to. The only person I can see right now is me. This is me talking into my mirror to me. If it helps you, that's gravy. That's extra. That's win-win situation. But it changes me. My own voice activates me first and foremost. I've never wavered from that, and I never will, because I'm very clear who this is for. If I'm not getting anything out of it, I'm not coming here. You best be aware of that. Because what's the point? Why? Why would I do that? Why would anybody? Because I'm not being paid to do this. There's no money be exchanging hands here. I, I know that there are YouTubers out there that make money at this. I don't do that. That's not how this works at all on any sort of level. This is all about me with me. And so let's finish this up. Now is the time to focus and really concentrate on a project or process, especially one involving the creative arts. Spontaneity balanced by self discipline will help us achieve our goals. Strive for elegance and simplicity. This is a time to bring out and share qualities that we have nurtured in private. Hmm. That's so interesting. And that really does feel like a very active card. Doesn't it look like there's a lot of movement in that card? So it could be, oh, okay, I just heard fire. So that's very interesting. Like I said, there's a lot about this candle gazing business, apparently. Okay, so it'll be the retriever is next. Oh, perhaps I'm being told, by the way, my phone, I tell you, I am not kidding you guys. There has been, I have had the hardest time trying to, oh, there we go. Trying to, there's not they don't make phone holders out there that take into account that most people put their phones in some sort of protective cover. And so the things don't stretch wide enough, or, just everything, every single thing. My son bought me some $40 thing to put in my van to hold my phone. And I want you to know that I've used it a total of maybe 5 or 6 times, and it's already broken. And I don't have a clue as to what in the hell the little rubber things came off of the sides. I just it's like I cannot tell you how much money I have spent. A few of my viewers have contributed. James Whitkus sent me a beautiful uh, contraption that I've tried several different ways to Sunday to try to make it work, and I can't get anything to work. If you have found something that works for you, send me an email with a link to it so I can take a look at it, because I'm telling you, this business of trying to find something that'll work for the phone is ridiculous. And I feel like maybe Ilby has come out to say, I didn't lose them, they just disappeared. Uh, 3 books to my tarot decks. Now, this happened with the Starman Tarot. I shared it on the channel once before. It disappeared for about a month, just was not there. I don't take these books and decks out of here, they don't leave my room. If I go and to a venue, I only take 1 or 2 decks with me, not all of them. So why the cards are here, but the books are not, is kind of interesting. And then the Starman showed up right where it should have been all along. And it's not that I overlooked it because it's right here. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Maybe I'm being told that Ilby did something with it. I don't know. Office of Unclaimed Property, Hopes and Wishes, Loyalty. While writing this, I was having a little trouble with Ilby, not for the first time. I couldn't find my keys anywhere. He thinks it would. Okay, wait a minute. I know what this is about to say, and you see the thing is, those three decks I hadn't been using. They hadn't called my attention to them in quite some time, and their books are missing. I wonder if that has something to do with it. That's very interesting. Not quite sure why that came in just now, but it did. He thinks it would be greatly to my benefit to be more organized and tidy, so he smears not quite visible juice on things that are out of place. Or he encourages the resident cats to hide things. I don't have cats, so that can't be. Cats seem remarkably willing to cooperate with these little bits of fairy helpfulness. Then I have to hunt and hunt for them, and Ilby hopes I shall be more organized the next time. You may have encountered him in this guise. When he has done something like this, my son observes he just looks at us with that who, me look. My son also advises keep your eye on him, and whatever isn't nailed down. And if you scold or contradict him, he just gets huffy and insists on having his own way. This sort of busybody helpfulness is just one of Ilby's tasks. However, he also has more important things to do. Ilby is a protector. He retrieves and safeguards our lost hopes, forgotten dreams, and mislaid keys. I found my keys. They were under a stack of papers stuck to the floor with peach juice. Not a place that I'd put them myself, but certainly safe from most key thieves. He holds these seeds of our potential futures carefully and delicately until we are ready for their return. Maybe I have to sufficiently miss those decks. What? I don't know. That's very interesting. Sometimes we don't think we are ready for them or we have given up hope altogether, and then he may arrange reminders for us, events or people in our lives that bring back memories of our past hopes and dreams. When that happens, we need to look at them again and consider how we might manifest them in reality. Ilby is trying to remind you of something you've lost, a hope, perhaps, or a dream. You may have thought it gone forever, but he is holding it out to you for reconsideration. For some reason, just now I'm being reminded of the Spirit Dancer card. So I'm wondering if there is something. Now, there is something that I haven't done in a while that I was thinking of picking back up. I wonder if that's it. That has to do with creative self expression, which could be why I'm being reminded of that card right there. He thinks you can do something with it now. The way may not be obvious, but his clever nose has scented a path, a potential opening for bringing this into your life. Sometimes Ilby may be saying that a long awaited dream is at last arriving on the scene, and there is nothing we need do but open our hearts and minds to it. However, we usually have to work for it. Another attribute of Ilby is loyalty, and I always am called to the fact that he's holding a ball right here at his throat chakra, and he's blue, which to me speaks of the throat chakra. So very interesting there. I just love that card. Okay, the last card we have is from our Rumi deck. So let's get that going. The Dance of the Divine Feminine, card number 42. That's a 6 as well, numerologically. If a tree could move from one place to another, it would not suffer the pain of the saw or the oppressive wounds. If the sun and the moon stood still like rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. I have given you only a few examples. You can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. Rumi. How can your feet bear to be still when the music is so lush and inviting? How can you hold yourself back from the tide of love when the horizon looms so vast and exciting? How can you not arch your back and respond with ecstasy to the lover's touch, saying in absolute submission, yes, more? You were made to move and grow, to love and flow. Even mountains change. Surrender the stodgy ways of the mind and become willing to dance to the great orchestrations of love. And I I now am very clear that I really have not a clue as to exactly what that word means. And I honestly don't think anybody really does. Not in truth. We might have some clues, we might have some ideas, we might have some feelings about it, but not in its totality. At least not me. I'll tell you that. That's what I feel about it. You may feel unsettled, beloved, as though the ground beneath you is not so solid. You may touch it to see, is it moving? Of course. It is hurtling through the skies, spinning, tilted on its axis. It's amazing you aren't passed out on the floor in utter dizziness. Yet you stand there, imagining you have a chance of not a choice, sorry, of not moving. What funny foolishness. Let us laugh about it together. How can you even imagine it? Only through some misplaced fear. It is such a small craziness, really. You can cast it off, that small, crazy fear. Let it return to the Earth Mother to become fertilizer for the far grander and more exciting insanity of divine love instead. Give up that tiny insanity in favor of the greater craziness of love. You cannot be unmoved by it. The rhythm of life will get you shaking your hips eventually. Wow, as I'm reading this, I'm actually being shown a conversation that I had once a while back, and I'm just now realizing, wow, what that actually meant. We each, like I said, we each have our own interpretation of that word, love. No one can tell you that your interpretation is incorrect because they don't even know, by the way. As far as I'm concerned, that's very interesting. How could you not become entranced by the gleaming dance floor, shimmering with the possibility and invitation? This oracle comes with guidance. Your life may feel as though it is being tipped upside down. Perhaps you feel as though the great beloved in a feisty mood has grabbed your ankles and is holding you upside down and shaking you wildly until your skirt is over your head or the pockets of your pants become freed of their contents, keys and wallet dropping to the floor in disarray. Your hair is messy, your bottom is in the air, and your sense of orientation is nowhere to be found. Blood is rushing to your head, and goodness knows you just want to be put down to have a moment to come to your senses. So the beloved will give you that gift, but don't imagine it will last for too long. The great beloved esteems you capable of so much more than being sure-footed and sensible. You are capable of whirling and stumbling whilst inspired by the music of the spheres. If you just accept the great invitation to dance, there won't be so much roughhousing going on. It I have had that experience where I call it the uh, tap slap 2x4. I get gently tapped on the shoulder to be shown something, and if it is something that I absolutely have to experience, the next thing will be a slap. And if I still don't pay attention, the 2x4 is coming. All in love, but it is coming. Uh, Pick up and put over here. That's been my experience. If you just accept the great invitation to dance, there won't be so much roughhousing going on. It won't be needed because your hair will already be a mess. Your blood will already be pumping, and you'll be ready. You'll be sweating, laughing, smiling, and dancing. The great beloved will be alive in you, which is all that grand seducer ever wanted in the first place, even with all the jokes and horseplay. Disarrayed and disheveled by the divine beloved, you are able to break out of a too ordinary world. You will explore the delightful consequences of rocked boats and upset apple carts being swept away by love as you dare to dream bolder and wilder dreams for yourself and the world. There is bigger magic for you to weave this lifetime. Prosaic priorities inherited from the world are stuff and nonsense. Read that programming and conditioning, because that's what I see it as. It is the priorities of the heart that matter to you. If you are ever to right yourself whilst the beloved is tipping you upside down like a soaring bird in most impressive aerial dynamics, it will be through establishing right priorities, the priorities of your own heart. So ask your heart what matters most and attend to that. Soon you'll be able to find your orientation, even if everything you dance, no, even if everything you have once held onto, appears to be shimmering and insubstantial, a mere dance of light rather than solid ground. This will become so easy for you because your orientation will flow from within. I think that's partly what, when I was sharing earlier, that when I go out around people, when we go a peopling, that is what the reactions are. I, of course, at 490 pounds, that was what the reactions were about. But now I weigh about the same as everybody else, so I don't understand. I never understood what that was about till now. This will become so easy for you because your orientation will flow from within, from the heart, and no matter what shifts and changes take place around you, your center will remain strong. This is what the beloved wants for you. Such peace and relief it shall bring to you. But perhaps some shaking about is required first, in case you are reluctant to give up some mainstays. Read that programming and conditioning too. Unaware of wait a minute, how much they drain life away from your heart center. This oracle brings you this message also. There is something you are holding on to, a person, a place, a thing, a belief, a vision, and you need to let it go because it wants to grow. It may grow and change into something utterly different, or it may grow into exactly what you are imagining. Whichever outcome growth is happening, and you'll find you enjoy the way much more with greater flow and support and less bashing of your head against the proverbial brick wall if you can let it happen. That seems like a very specific message to me. Because there's been a little bit of fear I have shared about this whole idea of moving, as I've said before. Don't worry if it seems as though your world is coming to an end or you are losing something you once loved. This is just the shaking about of the great beloved to lead you into a deeper, sweeter dance of divine being and becoming. Put your focus into your heart and realize you are more ready than you think. Now shake those hips, stamp those feet, close your eyes, and clap your hands. That's better already. Wow. Okay. Wow. What a reading for today with the collective. Well, and for me, I mean, it's always, always for me. And the biggest I tell you in this one, when it said that there is a person, place, or thing that one is holding on to, I'm reminded of this card that we drew. Surrender the idea that you can fix someone. First of all, that is a power over other energetic. That's not going to happen, no matter what. That's not what we're here to do. A lot of light workers have that all wrong, thinking that, oh, we got to, it's just because they don't know. And if we could just get them to listen to us, they ask me how I know that that doesn't work. Mostly because I tried to fix somebody, a whole bunch of somebodies, by the way. But I have found that the more I just concentrate on fixing me and emanating that, that actually is magic right there on its own because you emanate that wherever you go. And it's only for you. We have no idea what the other being has chosen to experience. Hell, I don't even know for sure what it is that my soul had in mind when I come here. Oh, I think I'm getting an inkling here and there, right? But the truth of it is, by surrendering to that flow, I'm being shown different things that, again, I promise to follow my nudges, and it's been wonderful ever since I promised that. Um, so that's really all I have. I hope this was helpful for you guys for today because it certainly is for me. And whether you're here drawn here now or later, there is something here for you, I'm sure. So I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is really, truly only just a perspective. Boy, I got to take this down now. I'm starting to get a headache. It is really, truly only a perspective that you can't find joy, right? That's all it is a perspective. And if I don't feel very joyous in the moment, I try to step over to one side and see it from a different perspective. Because chances are that other perspective, which isn't incorrect, is a bit more joyous than whatever it is that I'm looking at over here that has me all be tensed up and whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, you guys, I love you so much. I hope that you will have a lovely day, and you can look for the Soul's Journey, A Soul's Journey by Peter Richelieu to go live later on, either probably going to be Monday evening or early Tuesday morning. And don't forget, Tuesday I will not be here. So, till we meet again, be well, my friends.